today. It's Friday, the 24th of April, and it's 6 p.m. UK time. To those who don't know me yet, I'm a therapist and coach, and I use my free time to come here whenever I can, every Wednesdays and Fridays, to talk about mental health, therapy, psychology, human behavior, and anything to do with the mind, and how we can enhance and elevate any aspect of our life from those places. So if you have any questions, as soon as you're ready, just ask me, and I do my best to give you some recommendations that are hopefully actionable for you. In the meantime, I'm going to start my live streams the way I always start them, by reading and commenting on some of my own posts, to give you a reminder of what I'm about and maybe inspire some of you to tell me about yourself. And so the first post that I'm going to read goes like this. The more you are trying to fit in, and the less you feel like you belong. And this is because fitting in and belonging are actually opposite. Fitting in means repressing parts of yourself in order to be accepted, whereas belonging means being seen, accepted and supported for the whole of yourself, without questions, without conditions, without restrictions. So this is quite straightforward. When we try to fit in, we're making ourselves smaller in order to be liked, to be accepted. Whereas belonging means having people to accept us for the full of ourselves, for everything. We don't have to edit anything about ourselves. And this is quite a very important distinction to know, because as long as we are trying to fit in, we are under the idea that this will make us feel like we belong, and it's actually the very opposite of it. Next post goes like this. People with no empathy believe that your emotional reactions are weaknesses, and they use them to judge you. People with empathy see your emotional reactions exactly for what they are, the scars of what happened to you. And so this is really to highlight how our behavior is not who we are. Our behavior is the byproduct of the things that happen to us, and how we have adjusted and adapted to those situations based on our sensitivity back then. But what this means is that we want to learn how to see people past their behavior instead of judging them. When we react, reactions are always emotional, they're always subconscious, they're all automatic. We cannot control our reactions. So they're not weaknesses, they're more like reflections of the things we've been through and how we have developed whatever system to cope with those things. Hope it makes sense. If you have questions about this, just ask me. I've got a couple of comments already. Let me read them. Kay Stevens, hi Didi. I can't hear you very well today, just for your attention. Again, okay, I had that problem for quite a while now. I was not sure if it was real. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off. Can you hear me now? Is it better? I'm using, because I had that a few times and I didn't know if I was being trolled or not. Can you hear me better now? If anyone can confirm, I'm using the mic of my phone. Thank you, much better. All right, thank you. Okay, so that means last time also it was not working, so I need to do something about that. It works when I do videos, but maybe with live streams there's something different about it. Anyway, thank you, Kay, for that. I hope that you could hear some of the things that I mentioned before. I'm going to try to get closer to the phone. We have Finite Abyss. Hi, I hope you are feeling better today. I agree the sound is a little low. All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. I will definitely spend more time learning about technical stuff to make this better, easier experience in the future. Clements, how can I relax without marijuana? I have an addiction. You want to find out why you need this in the first place. If you have addiction to something, the addiction is only half of the problem. When we are, if you can't relax without the marijuana, the problem is not the marijuana. So I don't know how to pronounce it in English. Marijuana, is it how you say? But weed, essentially. The problem is that you need something to help you relax. So very often when I talk about addiction, I mention the smoke and the fire to a problem. So the smoke is literally the smoke in that instance, and that's the reason as to why we need something. No, that's the system that we use in order to feel better about ourselves. But we want to find out why we need that thing in the first place. And so we can talk about this if you want, but instead of addressing the marijuana, I'll address the anxiety, the shame, the overwhelm. What is it that gets you to need to smoke in order to feel better about yourself? The addiction is only the consequence of a problem. It is not the problem per se. It's a secondary problem, if you wish. It is still a problem, of course, but it's not where it originated. Right? So yes, if you want to talk about you and why you need to smoke to feel better about yourself, how long has it been? And are there patterns? Are there some triggers, some situations that gets you to need to smoke? Okay, Steven, so yes, it's much better. Thank you. Matthew Fennick, much better. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Clement, I hear you fine. Okay, thank you. Hi go. Nice. Brandano da Petro. Okay, the lifestyle is why isolation. So I'm not sure what you mean. Are you intervening to the conversation with Clemens? The lifestyle is why. Are you saying that in your case or in your opinion people smoke because of the lifestyle and the isolation? If that's what you're trying to say, I'd say it depends. That may be the case to some people, maybe it is for you. But there are many reasons as to why people end up smoking. Right? This is only one of many possibilities. But if you are sharing with you how this is your experience, we can talk about this. Matthew, how do you feel about symbols and archetypes? I realized I have used them since I was young, but had no idea. Seems like it may be a human thing. It's not that it's a human thing. I mean, what do you mean by it's a human thing? Symbols and archetypes are just how we learn how to decipher things. So everything is a symbol, everything is an archetype of some sort. But now when we talk about those specific terms, we're thinking about psychology and philosophy, right? Or maybe spirituality. But in reality, everything is some sort of translation. We create languages to try to understand everything and anything. And so symbols and archetypes are just a different language to try to translate something else to us. Do you want to maybe expand on your thoughts about this, where you come from? At BR Brandano, give me a job. I don't understand. BR Brandano, what do you mean? Clemens, I have a lot of anxiety. Okay, so let's talk about your anxiety. Have you always had anxiety? Have you had some trauma that were unaddressed? Did you have a difficult childhood? Do you have a lot of limiting belief about yourself? Anxiety and depression are the biggest problems as far as mental health is concerned. So there are so many things we can say about them. What type of anxiety do you have? Would you know? BR Brandano, I can't stop smoking, but the lack of infrastructure in society leaves me with nothing to do. Okay, I get it. I wind up driving every day too, for the same reasons, lack of infrastructure. I've been smoking since 1996. This is French. Okay. So there's a lot of reasons. Now, if you think that the reason why you smoke is just because of the infrastructure, it's not true. And the reason I'm saying this is because for everything, there's always many reasons as to why it's happening. Nothing is ever because of this or just that. it's always because of this and that and that and that. But if you think that it's because of the infrastructure, now you're not going to be very productive to yourself, because now you're putting yourself in a position where there's nothing I can do about it. It's because of the infrastructure. And it's true that society is designed in such a way that it can be very problematic for some of us to get better. But my suggestion would be for you to maybe expand your perspective and see different aspects of what is happening to you, and realize that even though it's true that society can make it difficult for us, there are the things that we can address that can help us make us feel better about ourselves. Nothing is just this or that. That's what I'm trying to say. I understand that it's your truth and it's your experience, but it's not just that. It's important to do our best to expand our understanding of everything. Um, so, if you want, we can talk about this, Brandon. If you want to explain to me, what do you mean by the infrastructure of society? Is it the inability to find a job? Is it, I don't know, what else that would create your need of smoking? Thank you for your heart. Brandano, it would be nice to be able to consult a physician that has time to really address the issue. Ah, all right, okay. It would be, but at the same time, we are in charge of ourselves. And so, with many things, with many problems in life, it's down to us to find the solution. If we expect for someone to bring us everything on the table, on the plate, on a silver plate, then we may wait for a long time. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes we're lucky. Sometimes things are designed in such a way, but for the vast majority of times, it's not like that. And so what I'm trying to say is that it's true that people don't help. There's not a lot of systems because there's so many problems in the world. And so it's down to us to do what we can, to find out what we can for ourselves, right? And again, I'm not saying this to try to belittle anyone, but it's really to try to show maybe a more empowering perspective of things. If we're expecting for society to look after us, then nothing may happen. If it happens, it's a good thing, and it's true that society should do that. I totally agree with that. But it's not. What we understand about mental health is very small, and also the help varies is very little compared to other stuff because it's not a priority to people who are in charge. And so this is why we need to do our best to find out what there is out there. What can we do? What can I do to stop smoking, to address my depression, or any of those things? And thankfully, thanks to technology, there are tons of new tools available to all of us. Internet, AI, social media. There's so many things out there now that we can explore to try and find some solutions to our problems. User VV9 said hi. Hello. Brandano, we don't even have healthcare. We have doctors, but the system doesn't provide the infrastructure besides prescription. Yeah, I agree with you. I totally get you. We live in a very rotten, corrupt, capitalist system that doesn't care about its people. I totally get you. But if you want to get better, we need to find solutions. And so there's a time to be angry. There's a time to be frustrated. There's a time to be vocal about it. And there's a time to find solutions, right? So if you want, we can talk about finding the solutions together. Brandano, they keep telling me my lungs are perfect. Okay. Okay. So what do you do about this? What can we do about this? What do you reckon? User Vivi, can assist with self-sabotage, please, if not a regular question. So I need to find out what you mean by self-sabotage. If you can tell me precisely what gets you to ask me that question, then I can understand your perspective and what you mean by self-sabotage. Self-sabotage can be a big topic, and I'm not sure really what you have in mind. So if you can tell me more precisely what is your problem, give me a specific example of patterns that are problematic for you, then we can address that together. Brandano, there's a lot of jungle in the world, but you guys cut through that like it's no big deal. This seems like it's intentional drugs dealers with degrees. What do you mean by with you guys? Are you putting me in the same bag? Please don't. I am on your side. I agree with you. I understand how the world works. And that's why I'm here. I'm here. I'm coming here literally on my free time as a mental health professional to give help for free to anyone, right? So I'm the opposite of all those guys that you mentioned, Brandano. Let me carry on. Jungian psychology is a bridge to the ancient traditional theological systems that addressed psychology. Okay, so what is your point? What are you trying to say? I'm a bit confused about your intention here, about your intent. Matthew Fennick. To clarify symbols and archetypes, I've developed a practice of identifying specific figures, usually from pop culture/myth, whose qualities map onto emotional states I need to embody, maybe just me. So you have created a system for you, right? Of symbols and archetypes based on pop culture and myth. So how are you using those systems? Why do you need that system for? If you can elucidate this for me, please. Brandon, I'm confused why I am not rich. All right. We can talk about this if you want. Generally speaking, if we want to be rich and we are not rich, it's because we have a belief about ourselves that is limiting us to create fortune for ourselves. So there's not just that. Of course, there is where we come from, our education, our culture, our belief about money as a whole. But essentially, whatever we manifest and we have in our life is a reflection of what we believe we are in this world. If I believe that, and again, belief are subconscious and emotional, so we're not all of them for the vast majority of them. If we believe that money is the root of all evil, for instance, then we'll be conditioning ourselves to hate money and to push it away. And so no matter how much we think that we want money, if we feel that it's the root of all evil, that will sabotage our attempts to make money. So that's just an example. But there are many reasons as to why many of us are struggling with scarcity, even though there are a lot of systems out there and a lot of people who can make money out of not much. Those things happen every day all the time, especially more so now since the advance of technologies. You can see so many people making money online, on YouTube, on TikTok, doing stuff now with AI. There's so many ways. And so the problem is not the money, it's why we are not able to do this. So now, of course, for some of us, it's going to be harder. If we grew up in a poor community, if our parents, if education was all to do with scarcity, then it's going to be much, much, much harder, of course. And also, if we belong to a class of people who are looked down by the hierarchy of society, then this is going to be also harder. But it's still possible. User Vivi. In trying to be modest, it's become second nature to set very low goals, targets, or achievement in life, as I'm not worthy. Okay, so we're talking about self-sabotage. I was asking you to develop on that, and you say you're trying to be modest, and because of that, you think that it's holding you back to hit your targets and your achievements in your life, right? So what I need to know is what is your problem? My brain needs to have a problem. This is my problem. I want to do this and I can't do that. Then we can get started on this discussion. Because at the moment I have a lot of information. It's interesting. I get a better idea of where you're coming from, but I still don't understand what is your problem. User VV. Brandano. I'm trying to figure out how come I'm not extremely rich. Maybe you're not rich yet, right? There are millions of reasons. So if you're serious about the conversation, we can talk about it. But again, maybe my answer to that specific comment is that nothing, again, is just because of this or that. Everything is about many, many things all aligning in this moment that are creating that situation. And so, yeah. I think the main thing that you want to address is, what should I be doing in order to be rich? What is it about me that I should address to get started in that direction? As opposed to, why am I not rich? Very often, we ask ourselves the wrong question. Instead of asking, why am I not rich? If you do that, you're going to think, I'm so unlucky, it's so unfair. Ask yourself, how can I make this happen? What can I learn? How can I grow? How can I develop my mind? Which people should I ask suggestions from, and so on and so forth? That would be a better question, because the quality of your questions determine the nature and the quality of your answers. User Vivi said hi. Brandano, look, I'm immortal whole, and all that I'm just trying to find out why I'm not paid a lot. Okay, so you're a troll, right? Okay, I get it. I'm here to create a channel to help people. So please, if you are serious about something, I'm happy to talk about it. If not, I will have to block you, and that'll be a great shame, because I believe that I can give you some help if you wanted to. But please be kind. I'm creating a space that needs to be safe for everyone. So if I see anyone talking stuff like that, then it tells me that you're not serious, and maybe we're not going to be friends. Brandano, it's strange. Specifically on my case, it doesn't matter if someone hits the lottery and picks the right number, why would they not be paid? I don't understand. I'm starting to disconnect from you, Brandano. User Vivi, okay. Brandano, I'm trying to figure out why I'm being sabotaged when my saboteurs could be making a percentage instead of being rapid, gatekeeper unworthy. Who are your saboteurs? I don't get it. I don't get it. User Vivi, I rethink. Okay, please. Thank you. Matthew Fennick, responding again, symbols and archetypes. Thank you for reminding me about our conversation. I needed reliable ways to access specific states, staying coherent under pressure, refusing inherited scripts, holding multiplicity without collapsing. So basically, you have created a system so that you are not limited by your other previous systems, right? But by doing so, you are choosing a new prison rather than the old prison. Because now you're still limited by some protocols of symbolism and archetypes, right? So you still need to translate those things. So what I'm reading from that is that what you want to do is to basically think out of the box, break free from the matrix, see reality as it is, as opposed to living the illusion that we've been conditioned to live. Is that what you mean? Because when you say, I needed reliable ways to access specific states, to refuse inherited scripts, what does that mean? Maybe we can talk about this more. What are you trying to avoid? What are you trying to free yourself from, to escape? I think that'll be more, maybe a better way to address this. Kay Stevens, I think as far as making money, an authority figure didn't teach us our worth in our efforts. Yes, so that's one of the many factors, absolutely. If you had someone that was making a lot of money and showed us that it's easy to make money and this is how we do it, then we need to believe also that money is easy to have. And if that person was happy thanks to the money, then we would also learn that happy money exists. And so that will get us to find ways to make money. Yeah, absolutely. The reason why we don't have money for the vast majority of us is because we have some associations that are negative connected to money. We don't like it. It's connected to bad people, greed. It can be all sorts of different reasons. But indeed, the way we grew up, the way we observed our parents behaving with money and how we felt about it is going to create our own relationship as adults with money. Brandano, I have to give you a percentage and you sell and market what I produced. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, mate. I haven't got a clue. I think we are diverging here, right? I'm going to see if there's any more comment from you, but I'm not sure that you're in the right place. Finite Abyss. I'm trying to trust that people think I'm okay. But my mind always tells me that I'm not. How do I find the confidence to connect with people when I feel I'm stupid? Um, you want to, so let me try to understand. I'm trying to trust that people think I'm okay. But my mind always tells me that I'm not. How do I find the confidence to connect with people when I feel I'm stupid? Um, I find it difficult to focus myself today. I'm not sure why. Um, how do I find the confidence to connect with people when I feel that I'm stupid? By challenging your own thought about yourself. If you feel that you're stupid, ask yourself, why do I feel that I'm stupid? Write it down. What is the belief, the specific thoughts that makes me believe, think, experience that I'm stupid? Write it down. And then challenge that once you've written it. Is it true that da 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 da? So let's try this together. Why do you think that you are stupid? Give me one example, please. If you can write it down, then we can address this. Brandano, I just said I was immortal and all sorted. I'm just wondering why the grass stays dead in the springtime here. It never used to be that way at all. I don't understand what you're saying. I think your mind is in a different tangent. Because now you're talking about springtime. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to have a conversation today together. Serving my Redeemer. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's free. All right. Thank you for supporting my channel, Serving the Redeemer. K. Stevens. Yes, Didi. My adopted mother paid me 10 cents to cut the grass as 10 years old. Always thought people were trying to steal from her just for the bad luck. Yes, so there you go. So if our parents or caregivers had a poor relationship with money, then we're going to believe that this is how we should be with money as well. And that's how we end up living our life in regards to money. Brandon, I don't want to be horrible, but I just don't get you, all right? And so, yeah. I used to have a terrible relationship with money myself. In reality, the vast majority of us, we do. And it really is all down to our relationship with it. But more often than not, as with most things, we don't realize that we have this belief. And that's why we are confused and we suffer from scarcity, amongst other things. Finite Abyss. I think I'm stupid because I'm bad at small talk and I don't fit in. Okay? So, two things. I'm stupid because I'm bad at small talk, and number two, I'm stupid because I don't fit in. So we can absolutely debunk this straight away. Is it true that people who are good at small talk are intelligent? No. A lot of us, we have some conditions. We can be on the ADHD spectrum or autism spectrum, and we don't understand how it is to talk about small things, and yet we can be incredibly, extremely, super mega intelligent. It's got nothing to do with that. Small talk is just a thing. Some people are good at it, some people are not good at it. Some people are natural at it. Some people, like me, we never get it. I don't understand small talk. I'm learning now how to be more normal. But all my life I was like, gosh, I hate this. It's so boring. Why would they do that? What do I even say? I don't get it. But it doesn't make me stupid. It doesn't make anyone stupid. This is a belief that you have, probably because at some point in your past, someone told you something about you and you connected with things, and it's just not true. Not being able to make small talk doesn't mean that we are stupid. If anything, for some of us, we don't do this because it's too boring. Our brain is too fast. Or maybe we would rather talk about some very deep, serious conversations instead of talking about the weather. So that's actually quite the opposite, right? Next thing you say, I think I'm stupid because I don't fit in. And again, no. How about the fact that everything is contextual? So you don't fit in where? If there's a group of people who all have very low emotional intelligence or low intelligence, and I don't fit with them, does that mean that I'm intelligent or not? Everything depends on the group. Let me give you a better example. Let's imagine there's a group of people that are all geniuses, a bunch of scientists, but you don't fit in with them because no, I don't know if that's the right example. I'm confused because I'm not sure why. Today I find it difficult to focus. But let me start again. Whether you fit in or not, it's only a matter of that group and your relation to that. It doesn't mean that you are bad or lesser. It means that you're in the wrong group. That's it. Find your tribe, find your people, find the people with whom you can fit in. If you trying to fit in with people who are not, with whom you're not meant to be, it's not because you're stupid. It's just because it's the wrong alchemy. It's the wrong attempt to connect with the wrong people. That's it. Um, and so change the belief that not fitting in means that you're stupid or not being able to do the small talk. You're not stupid. You are maybe different to some norms, but that doesn't make you stupid. A lot of us, again, if we're neurodivergent, we're going to experience this. And it's not because we're stupid, it's because we're different. And so what we want to do is to hang out with the same sort of people like us. And so that's why I was talking about geniuses. If you hang out with some people who are neurodivergent, many of them will be super ultra smart in their own ways, based on the things that they are obsessed about. And so you'll be able to fit in with a group of people who are very clever, and you realize that you are one of them too, for being able to do this. Does it help, finite abyss? Does it make sense? Do you want to give me more examples as to why you think that you're stupid? I, for instance, there are a lot of groups I can't fit in with, but now I have accepted that. If I see a bunch of drunken hooligans, football hooligans, absolutely drunk, shouting with their shirts over their head, would I want to fit in with them? No, because it's not my people. I'm not in football. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't want to fight strangers who are wearing a jersey that is a different color than mine. This doesn't make sense to me. And so I don't need to want to fit in with this group of people. And there are many more. You know, if I see a bunch of, I don't know, very angry or very self-righteous people, I don't want to be with them either. And so it's about realizing that you have all sorts of different groups in the world, and the only one that you want to fit in is the ones who will accept you without you having to try to change anything about yourself. Does it help, finite abyss? Brandano, there's a delay in the chat. I would have stopped a long time ago. I bet you'd have killed me in real life. That's why I'm trying to escape now. No, I would not have killed you. Not at all. No, no, no. I'm not sure why you say this. Furry and ink. The cool mug is here. Ah, yes. Cool mug. Thank you. Are you telling me my mug? You see, I don't know where you're from, but in English, a mug is a face. So that could be translated as that cool mug. It's a bit weird, but I will still take it as a compliment. Kay Stevens, she grew up during the Great Depression in the 20s and 30s. A stuck mindset I see now. Okay, but here's the thing. That was then, and now you can change. We can work on finding ways to change our mindset. It's possible. Matthew Fennick, by inherited script, I mean roles I was handed without choosing. Family roles, cultural expectations, the idea that I should shrink to be legible, scripts that were running me before I could examine. So yes, you're right. So there's one more. By state, I mean things like calm under provocation, decisive without anger, permeable without collapsing, able to hold contradiction without resolving prematurely. Specific internal configurations that I can name and notice the absence of. The figures I use aren't fixed identities I'm trapped inside. They are tools I summon for specific conditions and then release. So let me reread again. That's a lot to take. So, inherited script, just that. You're right. We are all like that. Every single one of us, we have inherited scripts. There's not one single human being that is not the continuation of the script that our parents have followed themselves. Everything about us is our education, our bringing, and not only in the past, but also right now. The society that we live in is heavily dripping with all of those beliefs that we've been taught at a very young age. And so this is for the whole of us. And so this is true. We all have a subconscious program that is given to us by society, by culture, by education, by us observing adults, and by us living in this world. So that is true. And so your script is to get you into state. So you want to have a control of your life, right? Is that correct? Because you say, I want to be calm under provocation. I want to be decisive without anger. I want to be permeable without collapsing. I want to be able to hold contradiction without resolving it prematurely. So you want to reach a state where you are void of all the human weaknesses. Is that correct? It sounds very stoic to me. And so could you confirm this for me? Are you into stoicism? Do you believe that we must have good virtue, we must be better human beings in order to be better people, citizens? Because the way that I talk about those things is slightly different. I believe that we are here to experience a human experience. And I believe that in that experience it's important to explore the full spectrum of our vulnerability, the full spectrum of our emotions, the full spectrums of all of our experiences. So that includes the highs and the lows. Now, of course, we want to have systems, but the systems is not about being bulletproof. It's about understanding that we're going to fluctuate and learning how to recalibrate, but appreciating that it's a journey. We never come to a finished product where we are invincible, or I'm perfect, I'm bulletproof. I don't know if that's what you meant, Matthew, but it's the feeling that I get. If I'm wrong, correct me, please. Matthew, specific internal configuration that I can name and notice the absence of. The figure I use aren't fixed identities I'm trapped inside. The tools that are summoned for specific conditions and values. Okay, but in that case, I will need you to give me an example. Because it's all just words. Now, symbolism, fixed identities, trapped inside tools, whatever, summon. If you can give me one specific system that you have created, then that will get me to understand what you mean. I would like to do this, if you don't mind. If you're happy to do this, Matthew. K. Stevens, I get you, Didi. Small talk is a waste of time to me. I get bored. Small talk is a waste of time. I get bored with it. Yes, we are no better, just different, and that's why it makes life interesting. Yes, absolutely. One of the things we suffer the most from is the myth of normality. We believe that there is a normal. So what it means is that if there is a normal, there is an abnormal. And sadly, because of that, we suffer from judgment and shame, many of us, because people judge us instead of trying to understand that we're just different. Serving my Redeemer. Nearly 10 billion people in the world today, and not one of them is alike. Be uniquely you. Yes? Thank you for the positive vibe. K. Stevens, I think that's why we get stuck with bad habits. At the time, we were trying to fit in somewhere in our past. You just opened a window for me. Okay, I'm glad I did. Thank you. Okay. I've been reading about kleptomania. My adopted brother has had a compulsion of touching things that don't belong to him. I'm helping him to make an effort to quit. Okay? We can talk about this if you want. Sarah. Hello. Hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you. Sarah, same to you. Today is very sunny in London. I haven't been out because I've been very busy indoors, but I'll go for my walk after the live under the moonlight. It's going to be for me today. There's a part of me that is still thinking about the mic situation, so I hope I need to come up with a solution at some point. Anyway, let's come back to the present moment. Dawn, message retracted. Sarah, well, make sure you enjoy some of the day outside and get some fresh air. Yes, mother, I will. Yes, I will. I do make sure that I always go out, but today I just didn't have a chance to go with the sunlight. So, but the good news is that spring and summer are here, so there's going to be plenty of sunshine for me to enjoy. Dawn, hi Didi, hello Dawn, Sarah, smiley face. Dawn, my ex is on drink again, okay? How is it affecting you? Do you live together? Do you still see each other? Do you have to see each other? Since he's your ex. He or she, I don't know, actually. We can't change people, but we can address how we feel about any situations. So that's why I'm saying, I'm asking, how does your ex drinking affect you? For those who don't know me, I used to be addicted to class A drugs, alcohol, anger, and many other things for a long, long time. So, if you want to talk about anything to do with addiction, amongst other things, those are things that I'm very familiar with. It's sort of my specialism. I hope I wasn't too harsh with that person who was talking a lot of, what was his name? Brandano. I try my best to be kind to people, but sometimes I'm human, and there's some things in people that tell me that I shouldn't try so hard because I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, but there's still a part of me that always feel maybe I could have said something else. Helena Gaspar. Hello, Didi. So nice to see you again. No questions for you, just a pleasure to see and hear you. Thank you so much, Helen. Okay, I encourage the kind people here to read about kleptomania. It is a trait many people have who don't understand how it harms others. Addicted to anger, very interesting to think about. Kleptomania. I thought kleptomania is when people steal, isn't it? Kleptomania. It's a rare chronic impulse control disorder characterized by an irresistible recurrent urge to steal items that are typically unneeded, low value, and affordable. Okay. Yes, if you know someone who's got kleptomania, it's important to know about it, indeed. So we don't judge them for being bad. It's a condition. Dawn, here temporarily, but he wants me out again. I have nowhere to go. So your problem is to find a place to go, right? It's about finding your priority. Sometimes in life, all the options that we have kind of suck. But we still have options. And it's about you finding out what is your priority. Now, if you want to have everything perfect, we're going to suffer because it's not going to be always possible. So if you don't have a place to stay and your ex is helping you, but your ex is drinking, you have to choose what is your path of least resistance in that moment. Is it easier for me to stay there even though he's drinking? Or is it easier for me to go out, look for another place because I can't stand him drinking? Which one is easier? And then accept this is my easiest choice in that moment. And focus on finding ways, develop strategies to make it easier in the future for you. But right around now, we always have choices. And the only problem is that sometimes those choices seems that they're all terrible. So they're not enough. But if you could remind yourself that it was still my choice, it's still a better choice than the other option, then at least that will make you feel a little bit better about yourself. You can tell yourself, it's only temporary, I hate this, but it's my choice. I've chosen that because it's still, at the end of the day, the better option for me, for that moment. Does it help? Dawn. Finite abyss. I can seem a bit quiet at first because I have Asperger's. It just takes me a little. It just takes me a little longer to respond, especially in small talk. But I do enjoy connecting with people. Okay, good on you. So, oh yeah, I was scrolling to remember what conversation we were on about. So that's about you feeling stupid, right? And so now you are saying that you do know that you have Asperger's. So you are not stupid. You have Asperger's. Your brain is different. You are far from being stupid. However, because we live in a society that is very uneducated about mental health, probably you've heard people calling you stupid because you didn't behave in ways that they expected you to behave like. But in reality, they were the one who was stupid because they acted or they spoke out of ignorance. If they found a way to get to know you, to understand you, they would understand that there's nothing stupid about you. You're just different. It's like, let's say you meet someone who doesn't speak English. Let's say a Chinese person. And that person can't speak well because it's not their language. You're not going to call them stupid unless you're racist. But if you're intelligent, you can understand it's not their language. So we're going to use a translation app or something to communicate. It's not because they're stupid. How many languages do I speak, right? And so, in the very same way, you have been led to believe that you were stupid, probably from the youngest age, maybe with your parents, your teachers, with your peers at school, with people in the street, society, anyone, just because they didn't know about Asperger's and they didn't know that you had it and they didn't know what it entails. The way you communicate is different. The way you feel things is different. The way you experience things is different. But for people who don't know that, you will come across as stupid. And so you want to remind yourself you are not stupid. There's nothing stupid about you. It's just that people don't know. So when you're with people, tell them, I have Asperger's, you know. Just 1 second, please. Does it help? Finite abyss. Does it make sense? Remind yourself that you're different. First, hang out with the right people, and then educate the other ones. But most importantly, don't take any criticism from people who are uneducated. It's not their fault, but you don't want to let them affect you. Dawn, I have put a lot of effort into the relationship, 16 years, and feel so lost. Have financial worries too. It's scary. So yes, so I said to you, I understand. Sometimes we accumulate a lot of problems. There's this and there's that and there's that, and it seems like everything is wrong, and we don't know where to get started with starting our life. But we can only fix one thing at a time. So focus on your priority. Focus on what choice is best for you at this point in time. If you start to think, this is not good enough and this is all wrong, now you're going to be drowned into all those waves of negative thoughts, and you're going to feel terrible about yourself. Instead, remind yourself that even though your situation sucks, you still have some choices. You still have taken some choices. And so you can tell yourself, it's not great, but it's my choice. At this point in time, I still have that choice, and I'm going to do my best for the future to be better. I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to learn what I need to learn in order to avoid those situations, those limitations again in the future. But in the meantime, this is what I have to deal with. And this is a lot for all of us. But it's true that we are not being told that we should focus on what we can do now as opposed to trying to fix everything. Because we want to fix everything, we're overwhelmed, and then we're going to experience helplessness and disempowerment. Servicing my Redeemer. Illusion, confusion, solution, mindfulness in the moment, here and now. You're doing like AI, you're resuming the things I'm talking about. So yes, illusion leads to confusion, and so we need to find a solution. And mindfulness is the solution, because right here, right now, Um, for the vast majority of us, everything is fine. Viber's Earth Portal, first class. Hello, Finat Abyss. Thank you. All right, thank you. Finat Abyss, yes. My husband is on the spectrum, so I understand autism quite well. And it takes time. If you don't understand about it, even if you know some basics of it, for the vast majority of people, they will still expect for people to behave in a certain way. And if they don't, we're going to judge them. That includes me. It took me an awful lot of time to, once we found out that he was on the autism spectrum, to accept him and to change my expectations of him as a human being. So it's about education, patience, but most importantly, don't take personally what other people say to you. Correct them, teach them, or avoid them altogether. Some people are toxic. Some people won't change their system, and they need to abide by them. And so, distance yourself from them and hang out with people who are intelligent, open-minded, kind. Kay Stevens, interesting about not listening to some people's thoughts. In that movie, the main character says, "God, please let me out of my thoughts." He was talking about what other people thought of him. Okay, I don't know what movie you are referring to. Okay, what movie do you have in mind? Seize the I remember you do mention that movie quite a lot. So it's a movie that really is important for you. So again, I haven't had a chance to check it out, but what day maybe. Matthew Finnick, interesting read, but actually not Stoicism. I am more drawn to Diogenes, which is nearly the opposite. The truth-finding version of him, holding a lantern in daylight looking for an honest person. Okay. But it's still, okay, so let's talk about this like that. You're seeking the truth, is that correct? And we all have different philosophies and different ways to approach reality and our existence. But the way that I see it is that there's no such thing as the truth. If we seek the truth, we're still coming from a place of ego. I need to control things. I need to understand things. I need to stay on the top of things. And when it comes to psychology, because I'm a mental health professional, the way that I see it is that we all experience a different truth. There's not one single person in the world that is exactly sharing the same truth as you at the same time. It's not possible. And so it's not about searching the truth. My job is about expanding the mind so we can realize that there are many truths. And if we can accept everyone's truth, this is where we create a solution for humanity. Because until then, people will fight as to what is the truth and what is not the truth. Whereas my perspective would be more like everything is the truth and it's okay. As long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, why not? So that's a different way to look at it. I think you are coming from a place of philosophy, isn't it? Kay Stevens, I'm going to bug you. Will you watch It Diddy? Maybe. Again, there are tons of shows, tons of movies, tons of books, even tons of albums like music that I want to explore, but I just haven't got the time. But if I come across it one day, I will think of you for sure. So let's go back to Matthew Finnick. The truth-finding version of him holding a lantern in daylight, looking for an honest person. Again, also, honest person, what does it mean? What is an honest person? For me, we're here to explore our adventure as a human being, and we're all doing our best. And no one is fundamentally honest or dishonest. We are which what we are because of whatever happened to us up to this point. That's it. We don't choose our past. We don't choose our upbringing. We don't choose our values, our belief, our education. We don't choose any of those things. And so the way that I see it is that we can all, if we are lucky enough to come to a place of self-awareness, upgrade our program. But we don't want to think that some people are honest and some people are dishonest. They are in regards to the context of society, yes. But we are all honest as far as our experience is concerned. Would you agree with this? Does it make sense? Matthew Fennick. An example, I've often been in rooms where people are collapsing into reactive patterns, getting angry, trying to dominate, trying to disappear, sometimes worse, sometimes genuinely unsafe. And then there's another one similar. I've often been in rooms where people are collapsing into reactive patterns, getting angry, trying to dominate, trying to disappear, sometimes worse. Okay, so yeah, my instinct has been to do what I think of as holding the room, staying permeable to what's happening, feeling the emotions of everyone in the room, empathizing with all of them. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So I was not sure, but now it seems like we are coming to some sort of common place. Because here's the thing, people do what they can. So now what you are seeing is that you are able to be in a position of observing people, right? If that's the case, then I'm with you. That's a good thing. Matthew Finnick, not matching their activity and still being able to act clearly when something needs to happen. I didn't know how I was doing that for a long time. Then I noticed I was unconsciously summoning them. You are summoning what? What are you summoning? So understand that you are in a room and you have all sorts of people reacting in all sorts of different ways, but you are not reacting to them. You're observing them. Good, so far. But then you say, I didn't know how I was doing that for a long time, and then I noticed I was unconsciously summoning them. What are you unconsciously summoning? This is the part that I don't understand. K. Stevens, do you believe there is a universal truth about why people are dishonest and they still without shame agreed? There's no universal truth. There are only contextual truth. Every single truth depends on the context. Every case is different. Every perspective is different. Every moment is different. And so, no, there's no universal truth. If someone is dishonest and they still, without shame or greed, there could be millions of reasons as to why. So, we want to find out why they are acting like that. In reality, if someone is dishonest in any way, they're being judged by society. And it's true that within the context of society, they're wrong. They should be honest. But from their perspective, if they're behaving like that, despite them knowing that it's not a good thing in society, that may be because it's a mechanism they've developed because of whatever happened to them, based on their belief system, based on their upbringing and environment as a child. That's it. And so again, we don't choose to be dishonest. We don't choose to steal from others. We don't. If we can choose on harming someone or not, the reason why we harm others will be always because it's a system that we have created that makes more sense to us based on our own experience of life. But unless we've been in their shoes or we have enough perspective to understand this, we're going to judge them. They're bad. And it's not like that. It's like that from your perspective, from the perspective of society. But if you can expand our mind, now we can understand my position, their position, the position of the law, the position of other people, psychologists perhaps, and then have a more empathetic and compassionate assessment of the whole situation. Does this answer your question, Kay? When we look at the world, whatever people do, we are all doing whatever we feel is best for us to stay safe, whatever that it is. And so when we look at criminals, people who do horrible things to others, they don't choose that. They do this because this is what they know. This is what they believe they can do. If someone steals, it's because they don't believe that there's other way for them to get that thing other than with stealing. If they've been taught that if you want that thing, you can learn how to do that and then make money and do this, if they could do that, they would do that instead. Now there's some exceptions. There are some people who have no empathy. So there's an element of genetic and an element of environment as well. But if people have no empathy, there will be the exceptions as to why some people do things to others and they don't care. Right? But for the vast majority of us, whatever that we do, even if it's deemed bad by society, such as stealing, lying, cheating, or any of those things, it's not because we are bad people. It's because that's all that we know how to deal with a situation based on our past and belief system. Everyone is trying to regulate the nervous system. Everyone is trying to stay safe in whichever way they know how to do this. Viberius, okay, some emoji. I can't see. Is it a steak? A steak and a roller coaster? I can't see. Matthew, summoning is my word for it, but the mechanism is probably familiar to you. It's deliberate access of a specific internal state by using a character as the anchor. Okay. So you are basically switching from a state to another state. I think that's what I'm getting from you, right? And you're utilizing a character as the anchor. So you're creating an avatar of yourself. Is that correct? As in, I'm not going to react like the human version of who I am. I'm going to become the higher version of myself in that moment. Is that what you mean? Matthew, actors do a version of this when they prepare for a role. Okay, so I think that's it. Athletes do it when they visualize a specific performer before competing. Okay. Parts work in therapy does something similar when you name and dialogue with different configurations. Yes, absolutely. I am using characters from media and mythology as stable, well-defined external anchors that reliably bring me into that state that I need. Okay, in that case, good. Okay, I get it. So you're creating an avatar, different version of yourself that you're going to step into. Yes, absolutely. Yes, we do this a lot, indeed. a lot of us, we create avatars. As you said it, if you are, let's say, a singer, you may be very shy in real life, but as soon as you're going to get on stage, now you are a rock star. So it's going to be easy for you to perform the way you want to perform. I get it, yes. So that's good. It's just that the words that you used seem a little bit complicated to me, but I'm starting to get my head around it now. Matthew, the character is not me and I'm not becoming her. She's more like a tuning fork. I engage with her and she shifts my internal state in a specific direction. Okay, so this is where we can actually maybe delve more into the things that you said. When you say the character is not me, in reality, we are many things. We're not just one thing. And whatever that you are choosing to be in that moment is what you're going to be in that moment. So that can be you. If you choose to be, let's say, a warrior or whatever, a superhero, a Valkyrie, whatever that you have in your mind, as avatar, if you do this all the time, eventually you will become that version of yourself more. It will be easier for you to stay in that version. There's no fixed self. Self is only the consciousness of who we are. And so whatever you believe you are in that moment, this is who you are in that moment. Just 1 second, please. My watch is telling me that it's time for me to put my third TikTok video out. So just bear with me, I'm going to do this straight away. Don't confuse shit. The most empowering. Okay. So let's go back to where I was. Yes. What you are. So I talked about it on my last live, actually. What you are is a vase. And whatever is in that vase in that moment is going to be your experience. But in reality, you are the vase. You're the consciousness. And so this is exactly what you mentioned in terms of the different parts, the internal family system. We are not one mind, we are many minds. But the ones that you're going to prioritize the most are going to be your most prominent traits of what you call your personality and who you are. Dawn, I have had people stealing from me when I rented rooms. It's not nice. Yes, of course it sucks. It sucks. Absolutely. Everything is contextual. So again, when people steal from us, as far as we are concerned, within the context of the relationship that we have with them, it's not nice. And they are bad in that context. But if we can understand why and where we come from, then we can actually, it's easier to let go of the anger and the frustration. It still sucks. We want to create boundaries, we want to create systems to avoid those things happening again. But at least we are able, if we can see their perspective, to let go of the anger, to let go of the frustration, to let go of the negative energy. And that's something. Matthew, here's an explicit example. Sometimes I embody a triple figure structure. Think something like the three graces or the fates, okay? Or if that's not a reference, the sisters from Charmed. It's okay. I get the fate. Matthew, three aspects that coordinate rather than one that dominate. The reason I use multiple figures rather than one is that it prevents me from collapsing my identity into any single role. If I only had one character as summoned, that would be dangerous. I risk over-identifying. Three or more means I can't mistake any of them for me. The tools I use, not identities I live inside. Okay. Okay, so now you're telling me that do you have some problems with your own identity? Do you find it difficult to know who you are? Because the way you talk about it seems to be, I think there seems to be some sort of fragility here. Like, I don't want to be too much of a character because I could easily be, you said it yourself, it could be dangerous. So that is showing me a whole different thing. I'm not sure where I'm getting at, but I believe that maybe, I don't know how to say this. Let's carry on with discussion and see if something comes out. But it all feels very intense to me. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you believe that you may have any conditions at all? Because it's all good to have avatars and to learn how to observe things from different perspectives and to empower ourselves. But it's a whole different thing to find it dangerous to identify too much to something. So that's the aspect that I'm a bit worried about. Matthew. Do you get lost sometime into a different summoned identity? Today, I have to say the conversation is a bit strange. It's not what I normally talk about, but I'm happy to go in any direction. I think this makes it all more interesting. Dawn, you're still doing your shorts, Didi? Yes, I'm doing my short videos. Is that what you mean? I do post short videos 3 times a day, every day, both on TikTok and YouTube. I haven't done any new long form ones. I put it a bit aside. I think there's a part of me that I need to come up with a new strategy, a new way to do this. I've been a bit overwhelmed with all of those videos. And so now I'm having a break. I will resume it at some point, but at least the short videos and the live streams are still going. Dawn, yes, okay. First, last, I love the short ones. Okay, thank you. Is there anything you'd like to discuss? Anything that I mentioned in the short videos that you'd like me to expand on, perhaps? First, last, I am not quite awake yet. Okay, fair enough. Sorry, no worries. Kay, yes, a lot of deep thinkers today. Thank you for your perspective. Um, First, last, just happy to be here. Thank you. Dawn, yep, Didi, they make a lot of sense. Okay, thank you. Panda down, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, too. Panda down. Thank you for the little hearts. Anyone in the background want to ask me anything? I normally stay here up till 8 o'clock, if it's busy enough. But if no one asks me anything, at some point I will just resume my day. And I will always come back, next week. Um, but I want to make sure that when I'm here, I'm useful to some people. First, last, how did you come to this profession? My life took me there. It's just a happening. Um, I think, liked the idea of it. When I was very young, apparently, some people told me that I used to tell them that I wanted to be wise somehow, and I looked at the stars, something like that. And then I spent many years in hell, dealing with all of my problems all throughout my upbringing. And so maybe my whole adventure was to learn about the abyss of the human despair, to develop wisdom out of it. Eventually, after many decades. um, I never really thought about this. I mean, this is not what I was aiming to do when I was younger. I was always very creative. And so I used to paint. I used to do some exhibition. I used to play music. I was a guitarist in many bands. Um, I used to write always, and I loved any form of expression. But I had my demons. I was addicted. I was angry. I was traumatized. I have a lot of problems to deal with. Um, and so my whole life was to go through my ups and downs. And eventually, as I started to learn about myself and to get better, I realized that I was actually quite interested by that. And by that, I mean the human experience, the human mind. And maybe it was what I really wanted from the beginning. I think I wanted always to be a musician or a rock star for the wrong reasons, out of ego and vanity. I wanted to impress others when I was young. And I forgot about the love of music itself. Um, and so, um, what works for me, I've been doing it for many years now, is that. It's still a way for me to be creative. Um, and in reality, everything that I do, everything that I've been doing, were things that I have learned to address myself. But eventually, I became quite good at changing myself, so much so that I was able to help others as well. And so that led me to where I am now. Um, but I never intentionally thought about doing this. Okay, if I may ask, what changed your life? Everything, every day is a change, everything changes. I think what you mean is what changed me from being angry, desperate, depressed, anxious, stressed out, and over the top, and emotionally dysregulated to where I am. So there's been many events. There's one big event that happened to me in 2008/2009 that really get me to stop alcohol and drugs uh, straight away. But then after that, there has been more little events that elevated my level of self-awareness. Um, but in reality, when we look back at things, we like to focus on one event because it makes stories. But in reality, we are the whole of the story. And so, whatever that I am now, and it's the same with any one of you, is the result and the continuation of everything else that happened to us up to this point. And so we notice some acceleration in our lives, but all the moments are as important. To get to the big moments, we need to have been through all the other moments leading to that big moment. Um, so yeah, I could tell you about, yeah, the big event that happened to me, but it's a big story. I don't know if you want to hear about it. Um, First and last, I can relate. Thank you. Dawn, have you ever suffered with any mental illnesses, Didi? If you don't mind me asking. Yes, absolutely. I was diagnosed with bipolar in my 20s. And then I found out through the pandemic that I also have CPTSD, ADHD, and borderline personality disorder. There you go. I used to be heavily addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, PRN, but also anger. I was angry, I was overactive, I was totally dysregulated all the time. I was all over the place, I was petty, I was nasty, I was mean, I was a piece of shit as a human being. I was super reactive, super insecure. I was in a constant state of fear, anger, stress, and overactivity. And because of that, I needed alcohol and drugs and other stuff to 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 keep me going, so that I wouldn't top myself. I tried to unalive myself many times when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. And so, yes, I still have a lot of conditions. I know that my brain is different. I know that there are things that I cannot do, but also there are things that I can do better than others. And I know that I need to have a lifestyle that supports my type of brain. And I have created a lifestyle now that does that. But it took me a lifetime to get there. And and yes, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because this is I think out of all the things that I can think of my life, this is the most important part. Me dealing with my humanity, with my past, with the human condition, with people, with the voices in my head, with my emotional dysregulation, and all of those things. And so yes, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so yes, I have some limitations. I know myself. I have a lot of systems as well. But most importantly, I have disarmed the main triggers of my problems. I used to be terribly insecure. I used to be terribly explosive and toxic. And so, yeah. Pen that down. I sit next to a coworker who is always angry and outwardly huff and puff. I feel like it's rubbing off on me. How do I stop that? Spend less time with them. We are made of energy. Whatever people do or say or whichever way behave, we feel them. We emanate energies, they emanate as well, we mix. And some of us impact others more than others for XYZ reasons. And so the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you surround yourself with people who have a good energy. If they're really negative, create a space between you and them. Not because they're bad, per se, but because it's putting you down. And then next you can work on yourself. And then you can realize that if their negative energy is rubbing off me, it is because there's something about them that I have inside of me. When we react to others, it's always because we are mirroring something. They are mirroring something of us. Right? If I'm happy and someone is annoying, then I'll have compassion for them. I will have patience. I will have kindness. But if I have something about me, if I have some shame, if I have some annoyance, and I can see that in others, now I'm going to get triggered. So that's the next level. First, create a space and then address your own triggers. The reason why we react to anyone or anything at all is because we have inside of us some of those things. But because we're not addressing them, we're not aware of them. They're often repressed emotions, shame. And so when we get annoyed by others, it's because there's still some things similar inside of us. So that's the next level. We can work on ourselves. But yeah, the first thing is for you to keep away from them. You don't need to be nasty or horrible to them, but just make sure that you tell them, you know what, I like to be a bit, I need some quiet, please, if you don't mind. And then that's it. Can you do this, or can you address maybe whoever is in charge to move you to a different space with someone else? First, last, thank you. Thank you. Matthew, I appreciate you engaging with this. You've tracked more of it than most people would. To answer what I think you're actually asking, no, I don't have anything that I know of. Okay, thank you, Matthew. Thank you. And I'm not scared to show who I am. The practice isn't hiding or avoiding, okay? It's more like a set of tools I've developed over time to stay functional in specific situations, especially ones that haven't been genuinely unsafe in the past. Okay, so in that case, if you have a system, if it works for you, I'm happy with that. Good on you. Great. We all have different ways to navigate through life. And so if you develop something that works for you, fantastic, right? I'm not questioning it. I just wanted to have a conversation with you and see if something could come up out of it. But if you are satisfied with it, good on you. Matthew, I know it's high concept. It's taken me a long time to articulate it, and it probably sounds stranger in conversation than it is in practice. The short version is I'm fine, I'm coherent. Fantastic. Okay, so that's it. Good. Hallelujah. I'm happy for you, Matthew. Well done. Nabu, we are not taught in school how to deal with our own emotions, true. How to deal with other people's projections, and how to not triggered people, how to not be triggered by people or not to trigger them. Especially more difficult in today's economy, adding stress. It's true, absolutely true. We're not being taught about the human mind, about emotional intelligence, about the human nature. Absolutely. This is why I'm here, doing what I'm doing, to do my best to raise an awareness of all those things to anyone, the best way I can. I totally agree with you, Nabu. Matthew Finnick, I know who I am. The system is just how I access specific capacities when I need them, okay? If anything is the opposite of hiding, it's how I stay present in rooms where most people would check out, okay? Good on you. Dawn, get you on the co-workers. It's hard when I have to work with them. So again, we're back to that situation, Dawn. Something is hard, but we want to realize that we can't have everything that we want in life right here, right now. So we're going to choose what is the best option for me for now. If you want everything and everyone to be perfect, we're going to suffer because we're never going to be satisfied with what we have. And so pay attention to how you feel, listen to your gut, and choose what feels the easiest and best option for you for now. And accept that this is your choice. But then, at the same time, simultaneously, organize a strategy to make sure that in the future you have less and less difficult choices to make from. Right? You create a better future for yourself, essentially. For instance, I used to work with people as well, and I found it very difficult because I'm different. It was extremely stressful to me. It was so stressful, I was masking so much that I had a lot of physical problems because of that. And I didn't even know it. I thought it was normal. But I had to do what I had to do because I needed the job then. But then what I did is to find a way to create a lifestyle that supported me. And that's what I'm doing now. Now I'm working from home. I have no boss. I do whatever I want. No one tells me what to do. And I don't need to be next to people that I don't want to be next to. I did this for myself. It took me many years to make this happen, but I did it. Because otherwise I would still be working in offices, in different places, and that would be so exhausting for my nervous system, for my body, for my whole self. And so I knew that I wanted to change. But as I changed, because it takes time, I said to myself, it's okay. At least I'm working on it. So that makes it easier. I know that it's only a matter of time before I can shift from this to that. And eventually over time, here I am. And you can do the same. Editorella. Hello from Romania. Europe. Yes. Hello, Romania. 10 points. What can you tell us about how to get rid of guilt? Guilt of any kind, but especially from unimportant things. Okay, very good conversation. How do we get rid of guilt? Guilt is the idea that we've done something wrong, or that we could have done something else better than the choice we have taken. And so the solution to this is to realize that whatever you've done and whatever you haven't done is the only thing you could have done then. You didn't have a choice. We like to fantasize and to believe that I could have done something differently, but it's not true. This is only what we experience with hindsight. In the moment, whatever that we decide to do is the only choice we could have ever taken. We're all ruled by our emotional subconscious mind. So it's not about what we think, it's about how we feel. Even what we think will be determined by how we feel. Even when we make choices, we like to believe that we make choices. But even those choices are predetermined by our limiting belief. So the analogy that I often use is this. When you go to a restaurant, you make choices. You choose what you're going to eat. However, you don't choose the menu you're going to order from. The set of options we don't choose. So even that is already determined, predetermined by our belief system. And so whatever that you're feeling guilty of, be kind to yourself and accept that it is your program. We all have a program, and in the moment, the program is doing what it's doing. It's doing what it believes we should be doing to stay safe. When it happens, there's nothing we can do. When we react, whatever we do or whatever we avoid is the thing that we believe inside of us we have to do. What we can do is to work before or after the event, not during it. During the event, we can do nothing because, again, we are following a program. And so the way to deal with guilt is to remind yourself, I did that, or I didn't do that. It's okay. It's not me. I'm not bad. I'm not inferior. I'm not nasty or evil. It's just my program. Because of whatever happened to me, I have learned to do that. And it's subconscious and it's automatic and it's emotional. Now that I'm reflecting on that, however, I can work on this. So this is when we work on ourselves, before and after, but not during an event. And the first thing that you want to do to address guilt or shame is to be kind to yourself and remind yourself that you didn't have any other choice. You did what you had to do because this was what you were meant to do. So now you can turn it into a lesson. As long as you believe that it's a mistake, you will suffer from guilt or shame. The moment you can turn that same thing into a lesson, now you're feeling better about yourself. And you're upgrading your program for the next times. Does it help, editorial? First, last, I would love to hear about it. About what? About what I just said in regards to the previous comment? Dawn, wow, you have had a lot to deal with. You are strong. So thank you for the comment, but I'm not strong. We are all strong. What I'm trying to say is that because we survive a lot of things doesn't mean that we are strong. We are all already strong. If we survive things, how can I say this? The reason I'm saying this is because some of us, we don't survive those things. And I never want for anyone to judge them and to say they were weak, they were cowards. You survived, you are better than them. I don't believe in that. I believe that all stories are valid. I believe that we're all doing our best. That's the only reason why I'm saying this. I understand where you're coming from, and it's kind of you, and I appreciate. But I don't believe that I'm strong. I believe that I am just like everyone else, and we're all doing our best. And it's when we are facing difficulties that we realize how strong we all already are, how courageous we all already are, how resilient we all already are. Because we survive doesn't make us better. We are born, we're designed to survive. What would make us better, if there was any such thing, that would be precisely to move from surviving to living. As long as you believe that you have to be strong, you're still trapped into the perspective of someone who needs to survive. I have to be strong because I'm in a survival mode, because the world is bad, it's dangerous, it's full of bad people. So I always need to be strong and courageous and successful. But if you could actually find a ways to move from surviving to living, then that's where the real success lies, I think. But again, this is just me being taking advantage of your comments to talk about my point of view. I do appreciate where you're coming from, though, and I thank you for the compliment. Kay Stevens, you wanted to impress others. I'd love to hear about your turning point. Thank you for telling us about the anger you dealt with and to recognize it. Of course, I was so angry. And every now and then, I still have some bouts of anger and rage. The difference is that now I have systems. I have disarmed the main triggers, but sometimes there are some remnants because the way we function is the result of a lifetime of habit. So it takes a lot of time to address all the corners of our brain. And we may not address all of them, and it's okay. We don't have to. But my turning point, there's no turning point. There are many turning points. I don't know. It's about understanding why we get angry, understanding also our options to the anger. So in my case, I wouldn't know where to get started. But if you could give me an example of something specific related with you, we could use that to talk about it. Anger is something that I know so well, like really, really well. Rage, I'm talking about, even hatred, obsession over revenge, jealousy, all of those things, envy. I'm very, very, very acquainted with all of those things because that was my mental and emotional state for 38 years. Yeah. Do you want to talk about anger, Kay? Do you see anger as sadness in disguise? So it depends. It can be. It's not just that. Anger is many things. Any emotions have different roles depending on XYZ. And so what you're referring to is that very often in the patriarchal model of society, men will utilize anger as a secondary emotion to hide the shameful sadness and vulnerability. Right? So in that case, yes. But anger can be many different things. Anger can be very healthy. All emotions at a primary level exist for a reason, and it's positive. When it's secondary, it becomes a problem. And so, as I just mentioned now, again, in the patriarchal society, a man must be a man. Can't be a wuss. Can't be vulnerable. It can't. Boys don't cry. And so, because of that, and also because the patriarchy kind of confuse anger with power or control or dominance, then that's why a lot of men who are depressed are going to be angry instead. And that's why if you see men who are constantly irritable, they may be suffering from depression and not even know it. But they are not allowing themselves to express the sadness because this is bad. They have created some system to block it. And they suffer from that, but they're always angry. But that goes with other emotions. The other way around is also true. Again, in a patriarchal system, a lot of women have been programmed to believe that they cannot be angry because it's not ladylike. And so, their secondary emotion to hide the anger would be sadness. And that's why many of them, instead of getting angry when they're frustrated, they're going to cry. Because they are allowed to do this, because women are caring, nurturing, sensitive, and they cry, as opposed to men. So again, this is all wrong. We should all cry and be angry healthily whenever it's needed, whether we're a man, a woman, or non-binary. But this was just to address your comment. Sometimes emotions, when they're secondary, can be really problematic. But anger in and of itself, just like any other emotions, they exist for a reason. There is such thing as healthy anger. If you can express anger to basically just tell people how you are feeling about something. Someone is crossing your boundary. No. Now they get the message, right? And so you let it out. It's healthy for you. And there's a difference between anger and aggression. The problem is when we are directing the anger at someone. That's an aggression. But if you're just expressing anger, it's different. We're not attacking someone. We're just expressing intense dissatisfaction in this moment, and that's healthy. Um, I lost my train of thought. Um, so yes, so that's healthy anger. But if we repress the anger, or if we repress any other type of emotions, because emotions are energies that are meant to be processed and felt, they're not going anywhere. They're still there. And so what it means is that at some point there'll be too much built up, and that's when and how it's going to come out at the wrong time for the wrong reasons in exaggerated ways. And this is when it becomes unhealthy anger. People who repress themselves emotionally very often end up in situations where a little something is going to get them to lose it. Why? Because they had too much for too long. And that has become terribly unhealthy to them and to others as well. Because now everyone is going to wonder why that was totally disproportionate. So yeah, that's okay. Dawn, what meds are you on bipolar? I know a lot of people are on lithium. I don't take any meds. I don't take any. I used to be addicted to drugs. So I used to take a lot of drugs. Like a lot. And because of that, I have a very bad relationship with them. And unless I am in excruciating pain, I don't want to have any medication or drugs in my system. So with bipolar, how do I deal with that? For 38 years, it was alcohol and other drugs. That's how I dealt. It was not a good idea. I turned into the Incredible Hulk or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I turned into a monster very often with all of my relationships. So it was not a great solution, but that was how I dealt with that. And after that, when I changed, I didn't have to have this because my transformation allowed me to shift a lot of my triggers. So this is a whole different conversation. If you have bipolar, we can talk about this. But yeah, bipolar or the worst symptoms of it can be treated by addressing our belief system. It's possible. It happened for me. First, last, ODHD here. The search for dopamine takes a lot of time. Okay. Okay. Yes, it's true. It's true. Genji, hello Didi, how have you been doing? I've been well, thank you for asking. I'm just annoyed because my mic situation is still weird, so I'm now not using it anymore. But one of those technical things. How are you doing yourself, Genji? K. Steven, what causes this negative energy? Is it a negative attitude? You're talking about anger. So first and foremost, anger is not negative. Again, it's just an emotion, and what we want to do is to learn about the language of emotions, understand what they mean and why they exist and what they're trying to tell us about ourselves. Society teaches us that some behavior are bad, and again, this creates so much confusion and unnecessary suffering to so many of us. And so anger is not necessarily a negative energy. It's just a way of expressing ourselves because someone has crossed one of our boundaries. That's it. And when you say, is it a negative attitude? Again, what do you mean by this? If you understand the mind, nothing... Yeah. I'm not sure where to go about this KK. I'm sure I will get back to it. But we don't choose to be angry because we are a bad person. We react with anger because there are parts of us that believe that this is the best way to stay safe, based on our understanding of the world, based on what happened to us, based on our belief system. Panda down, thank you, thank you. Down, so true, Nabu, I agree. First, last, masking is exhausting. Yes. Matthew Fennick, thank you. Looking forward to your next live chat. All right, thank you, Matthew. Love hearing about your personal stuff too. It's very human. Thank you for your vulnerability. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much, Matthew, for the conversation today. And good night to you, and I'm looking forward to our next chat. First, last, your experience. You mentioned earlier as a long story. Yes, it's going to be too long for today. It's the sort of story that I would like to talk about at the start of one of my live stream. So I'm coming live on YouTube every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. So if you can come at that sort of time and ask me about it, I'm more than happy to tell you about the whole saga of my life and my transformation. But we are coming to, I mean, there's still 20 minutes, but I don't feel maybe enough brain power to get started with our conversation today, I'm afraid. So I'm not going to get there. But if you come back, make sure to subscribe to my channel and you remind me at the start of the live stream next time. I'd love to share that story with you. It's just that it's a story that I've shared so many times. I need to be in a specific state of mind. I need to have enough mental energy to do this. Bassist, a very good point. Thank you. Editorial, thank you for the answer. After every live meeting with you, I feel stronger. Fantastic, thank you so much. And I feel like moving mountains. Fantastic, thank you, Editorial. I'm going to read it one more time for everyone because it's a great comment. It's making my ego very happy. Thank you for the answer. After every live meeting with you, I feel stronger and I feel like moving mountains. Ah, yes. You're the reason why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Made my day. Kay Stevens, I was angry that my dad didn't protect me from my adopted mother's emotional fits. Yes? So the anger was there for you to take some actions. Anger often exists to get us to take an action. It's going to gather some energy in our muscles. It's going to create tunnel vision so that we can do something because we're facing a situation that we don't like. This is one of the primary reasons of anger. To get us to do something against something that we don't like. Dawn Woodland X. Editorial, how can we support your work on YouTube? A bank account. Oh, that's very kind of you. At the moment, I don't know how it works. I haven't set up anything, I'm afraid. But at some point, if I'm able to do this, I will let you know, guys. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah. I need to learn how to do those things. First, last, I'm glad to hear you recognized anger as a primary emotion. I even had a therapist insist it was always sadness first. No, which I knew instinctively was bullshit. No. There's a lot of confusion out there. I'm sorry that you heard that from a therapist. But, you know, there are all sorts out there. No, anger is not always sadness first. Not at all. Not at all. No. People know what they know based on their own experience. And so when it comes to therapy, sadly, you have all sorts of people out there. Before a therapist is a therapist, they are a person. So yeah, that's why learning and understanding more about human mind is so important when we are therapists, but also addressing our own limitations and baggage. So many therapists carry so much stuff and they don't address them. And that limits their perspective of the world and their understanding of the mind. Serving my Redeemer. There's more to life than increasing its speed. Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah, it's true. Even though I'm starting to find out that all my heroes were actually had a very dark side. So I don't know if you read about that, but Gandhi has a lot of history, very dodgy things with underage girls. It's like Mother Teresa. We found out now that she was a vicious psycho, even though she's been given Nobel Peace Prize, and people are still looking up to her because they don't know this. But so many people that we used to look up to, we're finding out they have so much dark stuff to them. So that makes it hard for me to appreciate this. I understand where you're coming from, and I still appreciate the quote, but I'm not sure that I would personally use Gandhi or Mother Teresa as reference personally. Kay Stevens, my adopted brother is angry at the world. He won't address that. It's really sad he won't accept his big emotions and process his feelings to move on. His dad passed at 9, compound grief is tough. So it's not that It's not that he won't accept his emotions. It's that he's not able to at this point in time. We are all different. For some of us, our trauma are so deep that even the concept, the idea of changing can be terrifying and triggering. And so we don't want to believe that they're not trying hard enough. They're choosing not to. No. We're all doing our best. We're all limited by our nervous system. We're all limited by our emotional state. We're all limited by our subconscious emotional associations that we have with anything at all. So when you say he's angry at the world, it's because he's still suffering. And then he won't address that. That could be true, because he's not ready, it's too much. Think about a wild animal caught in a corner. He won't accept his big emotions. He can't. Maybe he needs some time, maybe he needs the right people, or maybe it will never happen. Not everyone will heal. Not everyone will get it right. Not everyone will. We are all different. So the best thing we can do, if we really care about people, is to just be there for them. That's it. And if and when they ask for help, then we can redirect them. But some of us, we won't get it. And if we love those people, we must find a way to still love them regardless. Jugula Wang. How to change my negative aura to positive aura? Because many of my closest friends, they're angry at me. So what do you call aura? You say your friends are angry at you, and you believe that it's because of your aura. What is an aura to you? If you could explain this to me, that would be helpful, please. The way I see aura is the energy that we radiate through our emotional state. Right? It's some level of energy that people can feel and see about us. So your friends are angry about you about something, but what we want to find out is, first, what is the aura and what causes it? If you're radiating something, it's because of something that exists inside of you. So what is it? Maybe we can have a conversation about this if you want. Gian, I can't see. Gian Yili. Have you ever truly heard anyone before? A mate of mine is a psychologist and he never really can't cure people, just help others to adapt to their emotions. Yes, I have, absolutely. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist either. I'm not a doctor. What am I? What I am is a clinical hypnotherapist and an RTT therapist. So within the scope of the tools that I use to help people, I have healed many people. And by healing, I mean I have addressed the main problems in their life. So when someone comes to me with some conditions, we don't fix or heal the condition, because the condition is a collection of many different things. We fix one pattern of behavior and emotional reactions specifically, and that I'll change. So yes, I have changed. I helped a lot of people with depression, with anxiety, with overthinking, with procrastination, with addiction, with self-sabotage, with anger issues, with tons of stuff like that. I have absolutely helped a lot of people. Yes. But it's not that I helped them 100%. Some of them have changed enough so that they feel like there's nothing wrong left to deal with, to address. But it's more about realizing that we are a collection of habits, and it's about addressing the most problematic habits right now in our life. And as we do this, we also understand more about ourselves, and that means even if we only address one thing, after that, we have a better understanding of how to address the other thing over time on our own. So yes, but it's important to highlight that we are all different. There's a lot of different people out there, right? We don't want to put everyone in the same bag. People who do talk therapy, maybe that's what you mean. When it comes to talk therapy, it's true that more often than not, it doesn't heal anyone. It doesn't change anything. It only provides solace, support, and gives understanding of what happened. So in that sense, yes, I would agree with that. Many people who do that, and that's not me, would find it difficult to change people. The reason why my system is different is because the systems that are similar to what I do address the subconscious mind. So we're not just talking about things, we're addressing how people feel, and I'm utilizing the protocol of hypnosis and regression and RTT for this to happen. So that's different. the problems, when they are traumatic, when they affect our behavior, they don't live here. They live here, in our heart, in our nervous system, in our body. And this is why it's important to know what we're talking about. What system are we talking about? K. Stevens, thank you, Didi. He needs therapy and is emotionally draining. Yeah, people who are hurt are emotionally draining. Absolutely. I used to be one of them. I know this too well. Genji, it seems you are doing even better than Wednesday. I am actually feeling pleasant today. Had a lovely walk. Well, I was visited by a large fluffy moth and decided to feel grateful for it just like a child. Fantastic. Thank you, Genji, and well done. First last, I am subscribed and I will look forward to when you have the time to tell your story again. Thank you. Hopefully I will be awake or be able to watch it later. Okay. You have to ask me. I mean, if someone else asks me coincidentally, that would be great, but I will not remember this. I know it. I just know it. I forget most things all the time anyway, again. ADHD and that. But if you can be here and remind me, I will absolutely tell you all about it. Safety dance. Thank you, Didi. Thank you, Safety dance. Bilbo Bagging. What do you think of Carl Jung? A lot of things that he preaches are very good and used a lot extensively and are proven to be correct. That's how I would say about him. I think there are some bits and bobs about dreams that I'm not sure about. But everything to do with our shadow parts, it's all very solid. Because he's someone that is very insightful and could get a lot of things right, which is quite rare when you think about psychologists from the past. It was all a bunch of angry old men who had opinions, pretty much. But in his case, I know, something to do with intuition, he came up with a lot of things that are very solid and used a lot in modern day psychology. So yeah, Carl Jung, good. Except maybe for the dream stuff. But then again, people only knew what we knew based on the science of that we had then. Now things have changed. Again, thanks to technology, we're able to understand things and to confirm things that we couldn't back then. Thanks to neuroscience, now we can see what is happening in the brain. We have machines that can measure different waves of, we can see the energy that our body radiates, a lot of things like that. And so that changes everything. And this is why the things that we know about human psychology in the last 20 or 25 years are more significant than anything else in the history of humanity. Genji, since we last spoke, I really took action to work on seeing good in the smallest of things. Fantastic, thank you, Genji. I am still working on everything else, but like you said, I can't hide myself into healing. Fantastic, well done, thank you. Thank you, Genji. K. Stevens, thank you for explaining that to me. Didi, I hate to see him suffer like this. Yes, just listen and understand he's doing his best. Thanks, Didi. Yes, thanks. Yeah, it's not easy. We're all human, and even when we know that people are different, there's still a part of us that expects them to behave in different ways. And if they don't behave like that, we're going to be hurt by them. But this is the process of empathy and compassion. It's a journey, it's a skill. It's really about accepting that we are all so vastly different. And whatever people do or don't do, or whichever way they come across, is because of who they are. It doesn't say anything about their personality, their character, or anything like that. It doesn't say anything about us either. It's not because of us that they're doing this or saying this. It does take a lot because we are all conditioned to believe that. Thank you for your heart. Yeah. Being human is a journey. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's really about raising an awareness of how we work, why we are like we are, and how we can not only ameliorate our experience in regards to our trauma, to our baggage, to our limiting belief, but also understand others. And by doing so, we can also upgrade society as a whole over time. The next generations, maybe not this one, but the next ones, hopefully, will keep on being better than us and understand more about or potential, as opposed to utilizing the old systems of judging, blaming, comparing, condemning, scapegoating, pointing the finger at, dividing. Yeah. First, last, any quick tips to break out of task paralysis or pathological demand avoidance? So PDA and task paralysis are two different things. Right? Task paralysis is, so let me see. I want to double check that it's not a specific term. Task paralysis. Okay, task paralysis is often ADHD related. Mental block where overwhelming anxiety about starting or finishing a task causes a person to freeze, leading to inaction, procrastination, or extreme stress. Okay, so I call it procrastination. And pathological demand avoidance is slightly different. Pathological demand avoidance is more to do with people who are on the spectrum of autism. The ADHD version would be, I forgot now, ODD. I only remember the acronym. Anyway, pathological demand avoidance is when we are being told to do something, but we need to react subconsciously to that and not do it, because there's a part of us that feels that we are going to lose our autonomy if we listen to them. Oppositional defiant disorder is the ADHD version of it. So the difference between PDA and ODD is that PDA is vastly subconscious. People who are autistic are being told to do something, they just can't do it. They don't feel safe. They're switching off, shutting down everything. Whereas with oppositional defiant disorder, there's a thought associated to that. I have this myself. If I'm going to do something, let's say I want to do the dishes, and suddenly my husband tells me, why don't you do the dishes? Straight away my mind is going to go, F off, you don't tell me what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it now. But there's a thought associated. I'm rebelling. I'm fighting against it because I don't want anyone to control me. And so that's the difference between PDA and ODD. And so now let's go back to your question. How do we deal with procrastination? How do we deal with task paralysis? I created a video about this. Let me go and find it for you. If you go on my channel, in the video section, I have a collection of long form videos. And I've done this 3 months ago. I created a video called Beat Procrastination in 7 minutes. So it's a 7 minutes video. Check it out, that could help you out. Now, you're telling me how could we do this with ADHD? So that is a whole different conversation. Because it's only 2 minutes to 8, I won't get started with that. But if you really want to know, please do come back and we can talk about this sometime next week. Again, I'm here live on YouTube every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you can come next time, do ask me, and I would love to tell you everything about dealing with task paralysis in regards to ADHD. Right? And also, when it comes to PDA and ODD, we need to accept that we have some limitations. So in the moment, if someone is going to tell me something, oh, I'm going to react to it, I need to accept it's my reaction, it's okay. If I'm thinking, F off, don't tell me what to do. It's a thing in this moment. But then, the next moment, I can come back from a place of emotional reactions to a place of mental clarity, and then I can challenge that, and then I can decide the next course of action. But again, we can talk about this next time if you want. They are quite big topics, so if you can come back, please do so. I would love to talk about this and give it the time that it deserves. That's for first last. K, how do you recommend spotting emotional triggers to start protecting yourself? You don't protect yourself by spotting emotional triggers. We all have emotional triggers. What you do is that you check how you feel when you are with people, and you listen to your body and you follow your intuition, and that will tell you who to hang out with and who to avoid. That's it. Now, if you have people who are present in your life that you see regularly, then how to spot emotional reactions, triggers. You just pay attention to the body language, and you ask yourself, why are they reacting like that? If they're overacting, if there are patterns, then you can see those are the triggers. Those are the moments where they get triggered. So you can have a conversation with them about this if you wish. But we all have emotional triggers. The only problem is when some of us have some triggers that are too distressing, too debilitating to our quality of life. We all react to everything emotionally all the time. But some reactions, most of them, they are small. They're not like nuclear. the problematics, the problematic ones are the reactions that are going to get us into really, really heightened states, and those are the things I want to address. Uh, but we are all reacting emotionally to most things. Uh, all of our emotions and all of our thoughts are a program that we have installed, and every day, each moment, we are facing some little hint and clues that are going to switch on those buttons and get us to react emotionally. So it's not necessarily something bad. Again, what is bad is how much, how bad, how long, how often. Um, Genji, thank you, Didi. I know that what you tell me will help me even if it takes time. But as long as I take the step to try, I'm taking a step forward. I'm truly grateful. Thank you so much, Genji. I appreciate it. First, last, I have both ADHD and autism. Okay, okay. Natalie said hi. Hello. Kay Stevens, I must say I'm resentful about the lack of education his parents didn't provide about his mental conditions because they didn't know. Even now, most people don't know about those things. And so I understand that you have some anger, some resentment, because there's a part of your brain that wants to understand. So you need to blame someone. And it's very normal, it's very human. We all do this. But if you could remind yourself they did their best with what they had, then that may help you feel a bit better about it. Even now, even professionals, a lot of people haven't got a clue of anything, right? We're just still figuring out how that thing and that thing work. First, last, I will search out the video you mentioned. Thank you, thank you. I will also be back for sure. Thank you so much, first, last. Panda Down, love your handle name is your name and play on the character in Donkey Kong. Diddy Kong, no. I didn't call myself after a video game. But it's okay if you feel like that. I used to play Donkey Kong when I was a kid, but it's not because of that. My real name is Didier. It's a French name. The reason why I shortened it to Didi is because I've been living in this country in the UK for, I don't know, since 1997, and no one can pronounce my name properly. And so I decided to change it. People called me JJ, TJ, DJ, Deirdre, I don't know. And so I thought, okay, you know what, let's make it simple. Didi, that's it. And also because originally my family is from China, and in Chinese, Didi means little brother. And because I'm the youngest in my family, I used to be called Didi. So it was easy for me to do. So Didi Khan is short for DJ Khan, but it's not because of Donkey Kong. It's a funny idea. Thank you for making me smile. But it's really just because it's easy for people to pronounce my name. And I've been going by that name for like, I don't know, more than 20 years now. So it works well. But my email is older than that, and that's why on my email address you can still see Didier Khan. Panda Down, do you like to play video games? I used to, when I was very young, like in the 80s and in the 80s, I used to play video games. Like in the bars and pubs, there would be some machines where you could I would do them, and also the small Nintendo from Hong Kong. But after that, I fell into drug, alcohol, violence, anger, being homeless, and all sort of things. So that was no longer on my list of options. And ever since, I've never tried again because I know that I have a very addictive personality because of the ADHD. And so I don't even try. I know that I would love video games, but it's just taking so much time. And so I already need my time to do all the things that I love doing, which is explore more about understanding the mind and doing all those things connected with my work that which I am passionate, I'm obsessed about. And so because of that, a lot of things that I love to do, I don't do because otherwise that'd be too dangerous. I love music. I play guitar, I play piano, I sing, but I don't even touch my instruments. I haven't done it for like, I don't know, many, many years because if I open it, it's like Pandora's box. My whole life will collapse. I will never sleep. I already have enough trouble uh, to have a healthy, balanced lifestyle with the obsession that I have about my work, let alone adding music or video games to it. Maybe in many years' time, if I change my lifestyle, who knows? Genji, I hope you have a lovely evening and weekend. It was nice seeing you again, my friend. Thank you so much. Same to you, Genji. Panda down, thank you. Editorial, next time, maybe we can talk about addiction to food, if possible. Of course, addiction to food is a great topic. I'm very familiar with that. I was also overweight as a child, um, and I had many, many, many clients who came to see me because they could never shift their body weight over a lifetime. And it was all because they looked in the wrong place. It's not ever because of the diet or the lifestyle or the exercising. It is because of some emotional blocks and attachment to food related to their past. It's always, always that. So yes, we can absolutely talk about this. Guys, I'm going to go now. Thank you for watching up till now and interacting with me or even watching back. I will be back. Just as a reminder, I am on TikTok and YouTube, but I spend more time on YouTube. And I go live here every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Um, and also, if you need any more details about me as a therapist and coach, there's a link on my bio to my website. So there's that. Panda, have a great weekend. Thank you for being live. Of course, serving my Redeemer heart emoji. Thank you. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much. Take care. First, last, thank you. I wish you a great day or a great evening wherever you are. And remember to be kind to yourself. Okay? Bye bye now.